Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Wednesday, March 11th. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I thought we'd talk about things that we can do as shops to get ready for the spring rush. And I can tell you right now, I try to keep up to date on the outdoor power equipment news and what's going on and what's not going on, this and that. And all of the major manufacturers are predicting a less than good year for them. Sales are down, volumes are down, tariffs are up, and they're all trying to point in different directions. But the big key is how do the smaller shops survive in it? So stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. Yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Wednesday, March 11th of 2026. So, what's my takeaway with all of it? Well, my takeaway is A, we need to become smarter. B, we need to take advantage of the tools that are available if cost if the costs are good where we can actually get more money, right? And then what are the things out there that we can do as a small shop to generate so that we have monthly income coming in year round? I know what you're saying. How do you do it for year round? All right. So one of the big things is like this. I've heard smaller dealers say that the reason that they're in trouble is because of like Home Depot and Lowe's and all them selling lawnmowers and it's cheaper, and yes and no. One thing that those places do is they sell a lot of units. The things that they don't do is have anything there to, they don't have any service plans available. And one of the things that I've been looking at is like doing something as simple as putting together what would a normal service on a snowblower and chainsaw, and we have all that information at our disposal, and I'm going to turn AI loose on it later today to see what it thinks and see if I can't somehow streamline a lot of stuff and increase the monthly income without taking a lot of my time or money. We've talked about this before on the channel, inventory. If you're sitting on a lot of inventory or you're sitting on a lot of, forward planning units that didn't sell that are still in crates, you need to get rid of them. Cash is king for this year. And that means you need to turn anything that hasn't moved off the shelf for parts in the last 24 months. I don't care if you throw it on eBay in boxes or Marketplace, get rid of it. If it hasn't moved, it's costing you money to house it. You want to have enough room and space to house what is selling. B, start looking at putting together a package. And it could simply be like $25 a month. And at $25 a month, we'll do a service on your snowblower, we'll do a service on your lawnmower, but anything above and beyond in parts would be extra, okay? So when I say a service on a lawnmower, that includes the fuel filter, the spark plugs, the oil filter, the oil, and cleaning the deck and checking everything else. But now if the customer needed new belts, new blades, that's where you upsell. Don't upsell them into something that they don't need, only just stuff that they need. And where you're going to come out way ahead in the game, the small mom and pop shops, that's what I call us, is that we focus on customer service more and less on volume sales. Our customers aren't just another number to a certified public accountant. They're our customers, and the better we treat them, the better they're going to treat us. It's always been my philosophy. You can decide on what level you want to be at when it comes to running a small engine repair shop. You're in full control. You know, I'm hearing right now that we're going to lose quite a few dealers this year that are not going to be opening up their doors this spring because they got so heavily laden with debt through COVID of the shutdowns and everything. They went into debt to try to keep going that they've run out of resources. And the other thing that I'm seeing in the industry is, of course, battery operated, AI operated, you know, and not having good techs that know how to work on the high voltage battery packs and how to diagnose them. For us older guys, it's not such a big deal, but if you're younger and you're aspiring to be a really productive shop that people will drive to, it's learn that battery system and how to diagnose and how to fix those units, because that's where the future is going to be, guys. It's probably not in my lifetime, but it's going pretty fast. So most mom and pops are not willing to take that step to that next. They're kind of like drawing a line in the sand. And I'm like, why? You know, why would you limit yourself when it comes to learning and possibly gaining more business in the shop? It doesn't mean that you have to give up on your gas powered ones. I'm just saying that if you offer a little bit of both and there's a lot of AI software out there. They can lead generation, booking, you know, most of the times when you go to any website now and you go into a chat box, that's AI talking to you. AI has scanned all these different customer services responses and picked the one that meets what you're trying to find out, right? And, you know, Claude and I were talking about this yesterday in our driving around, is that a lot of the kids that are going to BOCES learning a trade are better suited than the kids that are going into college nowadays, because the people that are getting laid off are not the tradespeople, it's the college kids. The AI can do their job quicker, faster, and cheaper. And so they're the first ones on the chopping block because they don't need to have all these people going through data when AI can go through it at huge speeds, right? But there are different software out there that you may want to look into, that everything from bookkeeping to, you know, lead generation to you name it. And yes, they all come with a cost. I think on one it's like $30 a month, but they save you $3,000 a month in booking and getting hold of customers. You know, there's one software that the minute the job is done and punched in, automatically sends a text to the customer saying it's done, paid for, this is the bill, and they can pay it right through the AI box. The AI will take care of it. For you guys that want to be just mechanics and not spend a lot of time out front, that might be something to look at, because it's cheaper to have AI do it than it is to hire somebody to come in and do customer service for you. Again, I'm not telling you it's a good thing to do. I'm just saying that there are different programs out there that would make your life a little easier, where you could spend more time working on stuff and less time billing and everything else. It's all automated. The way I try to explain to people when it comes to programming and computers and AI, garbage in will always give you garbage out. If you don't give the right numbers into a program, it's not going to spit out the right numbers back to you. So knowing that AI is similar, is if you're not feeding that system or telling that system honestly of what going on within that system, it's going to have flawed results. Terrible. So yeah, you really need to bring everything into focus and look at everything that's on the list. AI, as far as like if a snowstorm is coming up, it can send a text message to all your customers saying snow's on the way, is your snowblower running, and if not, give us a call. Things like that. And having it automated where AI sends a text to all your customers in the spring, get your spring booking now if you want to get your mower done in a quick way. We offer discounts in the off season. There's a lot of things that you can use to have AI as an adjunct, but you don't want AI running your whole business because then that person to person contact relationships are gone and the customer isn't obligated to feel like, well, I need to take care of them because they've taken care of me. If they're dealing with an AI chat box all the time, it's very informal, I guess was the right word, where there's nothing good or bad out of it. It's just, it is what it is, right? And with us human beings, we need more than it is what it is. We need interactions with each other. And another thing is, like if you have a website or Google listing or you're doing YouTube videos or this or that, you need to show your text too. Because a lot of times the customer wants to put a face with a name and say, yeah, Claude fixed mine, so I want to send it back to Claude again. He did a great job. Not the shop, Claude. And that's okay. You don't need to get nervous that, oh my God, they're thinking of just your mechanic and not your shop. It's a whole, you're all in one. You're all in it together. But some of the things that I'm looking at this year is doing something like a monthly fee, 25, 30 bucks a month, and that'll give you the basics on all your units that you normally bring to us. And then that way, the only time they incur a cost outside that monthly fee is parts for like more blades, belts, brakes. But what that does is it gives you $25 a month to put into your checking account, your business checking. And that's when you go full bore. You start advertising that at $25 a month. That's doable for most people. So next thing you know, if you got 100 people on that list, there's $2,500 a month that you're getting in residual income that will keep your shop going, right? And just keep going with it, The biggest thing to me is, keeping yourself slim and fit. It's kind of like exercising. You don't want to be overweight trying to move real slow because you're not going to make it, right? To the finish line. So the best way to do that is to clear out all the old inventory that you have. Stop wasting time and money on it. Just unload it. I've got boxes of spark plugs and everything else that I'm going to start throwing on eBay. Just bulk, just to get rid of them. And Marketplace. I'll try that first because it's cheaper than eBay. I've got boxes of vehicle fuel filters. I got tons of stuff that I bought up at auctions that I'm also going to be listing on Marketplace and stuff. Why? Because I'm tired of looking at it. A. B. It's might better put money back in my pocket to make me a little leaner and more in a better position to handle what's coming down the pike this year or next year. That's the key, is if you can look out and see where the direction everything is going, you're going to be farther ahead. If you're the type of person that is looking for new things to try, that's a positive thing, right? I told you guys that I'll never learn everything I want to learn in this lifetime, or two more if I had them. But that doesn't stop me from trying to concentrate on the ones that are the most important things. Now, I've been using AI on and off for 5, 6 years when they were first trying it out. And I use it as my personal assistant. I let it know. Like I have a doctor's appointment coming up on the 18th for heart. Um, it's an echocardiogram for your EF function of how well your heart is pumping and easing up. All I got to do is, because I can use a mic as well when I'm dealing with AI. I have an appointment here, 8:30 in the morning, and it will remind me the day before, and then it will remind me that morning, you have a heart test at this location at 8:30 in the morning. And it will pop up on my computer. I have here at my home office and at work, I have 2 monitors set up. And one is strictly for AI pretty much, so that if something comes up, AI will just spit it out so I can see it. Where while I'm working on the other one. Actually, at the shop, I've got 2 different computers with 3 monitors, but who's counting, right? What are you doing to get yourself ready to stay relevant this year? It's a big question. My gut says we're going to lose a lot of shops this year. That they've held on as long as they can, and they're going to start buckling. And it's going to be the ones that are the bigger shops that have the bigger floor planning and a lot of parts that didn't move that are just sitting on their shelves, and they've gone so far into debt just trying to stay at the business. You need to decide for yourself. If you have a sinking ship, are you going to go down with it like the captain, or are you going to try to get lifeboats out and get in the lifeboat? Me, I'm going for the lifeboat. If the business is starting to cost me money where I got to go in debt for it, no, ain't happening. So on that note, you guys have a great Wednesday. Today we're doing, what is it? We got a Ford New Holland we got to pick up this morning that's got a water pump issue and electrical wiring. We've got an Oliver to pick up that's got a wiring issue, run issue. We've got a Ford 801 Selectomatic. They won't shift into forward or reverse. We've got an 8N that we've got fire going to the coil but nothing going to the plug, so it's the points. Probably a little bit of emery cloth, but this is front mounted where you have to take the friggin' generator, roll it back, take the whole distributor out to work on the damn thing instead of it being a side mount where you can do all that stuff without tearing everything apart. And we got a Mahindra. A guy got a hold of us and said that could I give him a call this morning because he said he's having problems with something else. So it should be a pretty busy day. On that note, you guys have a great Wednesday.